Howdy, lieutenants and economists.
The most volatile, evil, disgusting things on the planet, humans. If you have a video request, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com.
Yeah, I am gonna charge you, kids. And that is the importance of not fucking up.
You are such an asshole!
Hello, children. 5 o'clock shadow Cappy here. The hair is growing back after a clean shave, and soon I won't look like I'm 23 anymore. Daniel writes. Let's do a Clarey test on Michael Hudson. Michael Hudson is a modern money theory economist. And then you wanted... In addition to Michael Hudson, I would also like to apply Peter Joseph, founder of the Zeitgeist movement, to the challenge of a Clarey test. I remember in 2007 the Zeitgeist documentary and the 3 pillars of the movement that made people contemplate Christianity, the United States federal government, and capitalism. How Peter correlates Christianity with capitalism is troublesome. I don't know how you can do that. Capitalism is the natural default state. You'll find it everywhere, even in communist countries. Surprise, surprise, there's an underground black market economy. I can already say he's wrong, and I hate to sound and boil it down so simply, but yeah, Peter Joseph is wrong. Needless to say, I'm a Roman Catholic, and I do not remember any Catholic priest or Sunday school teacher, for that matter, preaching capitalism as the religion. No, but you got a pope who preaches communism. Furthermore, I do not believe a resource-based economy would bring equality to the masses. Where do you stand on a resource-based economy? Honest to God, what the fuck? Mission creep, huh? Let's look this up real quick. Resource-based economy. Aaron, are you looking it up, shit? Yeah, I should know, but it's been so long. Is the economy of a country whose gross national product grows to a large... Oh, it comes from natural resources. Okay, so like an oil-based economy. Where do I stand on resource-based economies? They're not good. I mean, you're a one-trick pony. You got to diversify. You got to, look at what happened to Venezuela. Saudi Arabia now for the first time starting to tax people. You got to diversify. It's no different than investing or any kind of risk assessment or risk abatement. You diversify your economy. I read several books on the subject and concluded that a resource-based economy is technically a technocracy. Technocracy does coincide with communism, for which a technocracy can only work in a communist dictatorship according to technocrats. Well, yeah, if your oil or gold or your salt, if you're the Mali Empire, whatever, keeps, yeah, fine, but it doesn't change the fact that, hey, we come up with clean energy that's cheaper than oil. There's going to be a lot of poor Middle Easterners and even poorer Venezuelans. Let's also apply Michael Hudson to the Clarey test as well. Michael Hudson is an economist that believes in modern money theory. Don't you mean modern monetary theory, which seems to have some practicalities to our current economic problems with the Fed. I listened to some of his lectures, but I become disenchanted when he starts elaborating on Karl Marx's theories. Yeah, I looked into him a little bit. He's kind of he's an academic putz. He didn't come from wealth, if I recall correctly. We'll go through it in more detail. But this guy just had a burr in his saddle to stay in academia, and the only private sector experience that he got, which was by almost accident, was because he wanted to figure out how the banks work, and he was going to figure out how debt. And this is not to besmirch his views on debt, some of which, when I peruse through them, are true. They do cause bubbles and the likes. But his actions, let's take whatever he says about economics out of it. This guy had no intention of I'm going to work in the field, or I'm going to produce something of value. It was like, nope, he's going to be an academic his entire life. Although it was good to see him get a real stint of real work in the real world. When asked the question if he was for or against a universal basic income, he appeared to look dismayed from the audience. Tell me the additional fee, I'll be happy to pay. Take care. Alright, so let's go through these 2 items here. Michael Hudson. He's old. Almost 80. Where'd it go? Wikipedia. Born in 1939, he's an American economist, professor of economics at the University of Missouri in Kansas City, and as a researcher at the Levi Economics Institute at Bard College, former Wall Street analyst, political consultant, commentator, journalist. Graduated from the University of Chicago with a Bachelor's of Arts and New York University MA. And a PhD. I'm going to award him. Now, you know the problem that we face with baby boomers is, in the olden days, any degree was a good degree. So, like, if you got an MBA or a business degree, yeah, that was a worthwhile. You could even major in philosophy. It was a worthwhile because any degree was a good degree back then. So it wasn't like you're just trying to avoid math. However, if you look into this guy's background, he did not want to go swing a hammer and do some carpentry. Very much like Bernie. Even Bernie Sanders swung a hammer once in a while poorly. This guy wanted to go straight into academia, so I am going to award him a point because his intentions was to avoid working in the real world. Assistant professor of economics at the New School for Social Research in the 60s and 70s, worked for various government and non-governmental organizations, and economic consultant. He devoted his entire scientific career. Economics is not a science. It is not a science. Please stop calling it that. I'm an economist. Please, it is anything but. To the study of debt, both domestic and external. In his works, he consistently advocates the idea that loans and exponentially growing debts that outstrips profits from the economy of the real sphere are disastrous for both the government and the people of the borrowing state. They wash money going to payments to usurers and rentiers from turnover, not leaving them to buy goods and services, and thus lead to debt deflation of the economy. Hudson notes that the existing economic theory is in the service of rentiers and financiers, and has developed a special language designed to create the impression that the current status quo has no alternative. In a false theory, the parasitic encumbrances of the real economy, instead of being deducted in accounting, add up as an addition to GDP and are presented as productive. He's not wrong. There's a lot of broken windows being thrown into GDP. All you gals who want to study things to go and take care of other women's children, when if you just would have stayed at home and take care of your own damn children, that wouldn't show up in GDP, but there'd be better standards of living. So Hudson sees consumer protection, state support of infrastructure projects, and taxation of parasitic rentier sectors of the economy instead of taxing workers as a continuation of the line of classical economists today. Youth, career, and choice. Hudson was born in Minneapolis. He's a fifth-generation American. I hate it when Wikipedia does this. You're fifth generation. They're going all the way back to he has like a maternal line to the Ojibwe Indians. Are you kidding me? Does it matter now? His father received an economics education at the University of Minnesota. After completing his studies in 1929, year of the Great Depression, Nathaniel actively joined the trade union struggle, became an active Trotskyite trade unionist, editor of the Northwestern Organizer and the Industrial Organizer, and wrote articles for other trade union publications. When Michael was only 2 years old, his father was arrested. He was subject to the Smith Act, which was aimed at fighting the Trotskyists in the United States. Primary and secondary education, Michael received in a private school, University of Chicago Laboratory Schools. I'm going to say he came from wealth. His dad might be much more interesting to go and look back upon. But if he got a degree in economics back in the 20s, his father must have had some kind of wealth. And then you get to go and play social justice warrior when we did not have quite the borrowing and spend and government safety net we have today. He's had two specialties. Germanic philosophy as an additional history was chosen in 1959. Hudson graduated from the university with a bachelor's degree. After graduation, he worked as an assistant to Jeremy Kaplan at Free Press in Chicago. He managed to obtain the rights to the English language editions of the works of Georgy Lukács, as well as the rights to the archive and works of Lev Trotsky after the death of his widow, Natalia Sadova. However, the working on the publishing house was neither interesting nor profitable as a result. Okay, so he's not working a real gig. This is still constant work avoidance. In 1961, Hudson enrolled in the economics department of New York University. His master's thesis was devoted to the development philosophy of the World Bank. Special attention was paid to credit policy in the agricultural sector. Many years later, Hudson recognized the topics that most interested me and the focus of this book were not taught at the university where I took my graduate economics degree. In fact, they're not taught in any university departments. The dynamics of debt and how the pattern of bank lending inflates land prices or national income accounting, and the rise share absorbed by rent extraction in the finance, insurance, and real estate fire sector. There was only one way to learn how to analyze these topics: to work for banks, to find out how finance works in reality. See, he actually made the jump, which is more than what he said for most of you economic academics. Hudson, in parallel with training at the Faculty of Economics, began to work in a bank. My first job was as mundane as could be imagined, an economist for the Savings Bank and Trust Company, no longer existing, and had been created by New York's then 127 savings banks, also now extinct. I was hired to write up how savings accrued interest and were recycled into new mortgage loans. My graphs of the savings upsweep looked like Hokusai's wave, but with a pulse spiking like a cardiogram every 3 months on the day quarterly dividends were credited. In '64, Hudson, who had just received his master's degree in economics, joined Chase Manhattan's Bank's research economic balance of payment specialist, tasked to establish the capacity repayment of Argentina, Brazil, and Chile. Based on data in their export earnings and other international payments, Hudson had to find out what kind of income the bank would get from the debt payments that these countries had accumulated. I soon found out, recalled the scientists, that the Latin American countries I analyzed were fully loaned up. Yes, but let's give him more. Not his fault. He would probably... I don't think this guy is evil or immoral or anything like that. He just was immediately indoctrinated into communism. Well, everything should be taken care of. Blah, 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 blah. Then he continues on. So, did he come from wealth? Yes. Did he major in something worthless? Yes. Does he have any real-world working experience? Yes, so he doesn't get a point for that. What is he doing now? What is he? He's still a professor. I gotta give him a point for being a professor. That's not a real thing in today's age. If he was retired and kind of went on his merry way, fine. He's a professor of economics, researcher, former Wall Street analyst. Yeah, he gets a 3. He gets a 3. Not good. Would I like to talk to him? Have a beer with him? I'd like to hear his thoughts and opinions on debt and how he would like the world to be, but I would have it thoroughly couched in the fact that he's never had the intention of working. I'm sorry, dude, you just didn't, and you've been sitting on your ass in academia and touchy-feely world this entire time. He did do honest stints in the banking world, and I'll give him credit for that. But I'd be curious. All right, you've spent your entire life studying this. What have you got? Tell me how it should work. And then me and my ass, who has worked in the real world, has been in the trenches, I'll compare notes and see if those two jive. Should he run for public office? No, I don't think he should. I don't think anyone who's been that cocooned in the academic, non-profit government echo chamber, I wouldn't. So, all right, so there's that guy. Who's the other guy you wanted? Peter Joseph. Is this the guy? Oh, okay, Zeitgeist film series. Oh, he's younger. Oh, he's a young guy. Younger than me. American independent filmmaker and activist. Of course, because you just can't make films. It has to be my job plus politics. I can't just get a coffee at Starbucks. No, it has to be coffee plus do you want to talk about race? It's like, make me my fucking coffee, you goddamn mocha monkey. He is best known for the Zeitgeist film series, which he wrote, directed, narrated, scored, and produced. He is the founder of the related Zeitgeist movement. Other professional work includes directing the series music video God is Dead and for the band Black Sabbath. According to Joseph, he was born in North Carolina, attended high school at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts. After graduation, he moved to New York City to pursue a career in solo classical percussion performance, attending the New School of Social Research. Worthless degree. So far, no real-world working experience. I don't know if he came from wealth. The fact he went to public schools, I'm going to assume, is not. He began his professional career working in advertising and as a private equity trader on Wall Street. Okay, got real-world working experience there. 2007, he produced a live performance art piece in New York City that he titled Zeitgeist. All right, we can pick and mock and ridicule people who want to be poets. Oh, I want to work in film. He produced it. That's real work. So he does get a not point for that. I'm trying to figure out, did his mom and dad finance it? That's what I want to figure out. Film version was created and released by Joseph online and went viral with millions of views. Good. It became the first in a trilogy of films produced by Joseph, the others being Zeitgeist Addendum and Zeitgeist Moving Forward, released in 2008 and 2011 respectively. 2009, Joseph founded the Zeitgeist Movement, a self-described sustainability advocacy organization. Of course. He can't just make movies. It was originally started as an activist arm of an organization called the Venus Project, launched by Jacques Fresco in 1994. 2011, the two organizations separated. Joseph's work with the movement and the trilogy has been a subject of national media attention, to include articles in the New York Times, the Palm Beach Post, VC Reporter, and the Marker. I've never heard of it. And this shows you how you could say, oh, it's internationally recognized. Well, my buddy in Canada, I emailed him my article, so I guess it's internationally recognized. Doesn't mean New York Times, Palm Beach Post, VC Reporter, and the Marker? He's the owner of an LLC. It's good to see entrepreneurship there. A number of lectures at TED Talks. I want to know Peter Joseph's parents. He has real-world working experience, worthless degree. What's he doing now? He's still working, so he's going to get 2 points. I want to know if he really... Is the internet going to crap out now? He's still working. I mean, I may not agree with his politics of work, but it's work. What was the guy's name again? Peter Joseph. Bio. Peter Joseph. Info, biography. Parents. New human rights. Yeah. Early life. The son of a social worker and a mailman, his early life comprised of a fairly traditional middle-class upbringing. He has commented that his mother's social work in the extreme poor rural north was an inspiration for his social activism. Of course, because you've realized just throwing money at the problem of socialism worked so well that being the youngest percussionist ever, don't care. So he didn't come from money. He did, like the previous guy, Hudson. It sounds like, socialist parents breed socialist children. But his parents, I don't believe they are financing his ventures. He's doing it 100% on his own. So, does not come from wealth. Good. Majored in worthless crap. Has real-world working experience. Good. And is still working. Still working. What is he doing now? He only gets a point of 1. Would I like to have a beer with him? Not really. I know he scores very well on the Clarey test, but the more I'm looking... This is just a flyby, You guys want me to delve really, really, really deep into someone. Like, he's got a picture of a book. Oh, no, it's not a book. It's a film poster. Interreflections. And it's a woman pregnant with a... And just all this peace project on Earth, the new human rights movement. No, this is just another hippie kid... maybe he works harder, has a little bit more business acumen than the others. I'm just not impressed. This is just, wow, another millennial who believes that just more government money and socialism and my money is good. What's new here? What's new? I'd rather talk to a rank communist. Because at least there's a new revolutionary thought there, aside from other people's money. But at least they're a little bit more committed about it. This is just, man, like, if we just help out the people in Africa, man, then we didn't. Or to quote Chris Beckloff, send McKinsey and the fuck-around gang from the Christian youth group to go and build a well in Africa. That's really worked. I don't know. I'd prefer maybe to have a conversation with him more than I would the Hudson guy. Because Hudson, it's very clear he had, and this guy might be well-intended. The Hudson guy just seemed like, I'm going to go and tell the world what to do because I don't want to get blisters on my hands. This guy, I think, has a little bit more intellectual honesty in what he's doing, albeit indoctrinated early on by his folks. Should he run for public office? No. No, please don't. Please don't. If you haven't figured out that your mom's career and profession didn't work, and you've had great success. Hey, is there still a wage gap between the rich and the poor? Is there still poverty amongst minority classes? And hey, let me know when the leftist politics actually start delivering what they're promising, instead of just, well, we need to do it more. Maybe a brief conversation. like a thimble of beer I'd have. But like, hey, what the hell, dude? Are you gonna make? Look, you're honest. When do you have the timeline to say, yeah, you know, this stuff ain't working, we gotta try something new? Or are we just gonna keep doing the same old NGO, SJW, nonprofit, help the children, bullshit that never works? And if he's like, yeah, you're right, man, it ain't working, I've given myself until 2025, then I'm gonna change tact. All right, good. But otherwise, oh man, you know, I just need some government grant money to help raise awareness, to start a discussion, to raise awareness, to bring about the issues, to hopefully start a conversation. All right, that's it. AssheleConsulting.com, Patreon.com/Aaron Clarey, SoundCloud.com, search Aaron Clarey for the podcast, CaptainCapitalism.blogspot.com. Yes, he is a capitalist. It has a great track record. You guys really ought to try it sometime. And books and crap and things and stuff. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.